We're live. How you doing, friends? This is Camille, and
It's
here we have
John.
John. How you doing, John?
I'm good. We're gonna ride
Are
the
you ready
markets
for?
till the wheels fall off, and then go reinvest more money.
I was looking at your calls in the Telegram channel that we run today. I was quite busy, but I saw your beautiful calls, and so many things started hitting, and incredible. I mean, not started because we've been doing this since early September. All the calls, started hitting, but now in November, it seems like it's a really good month. No?
Yeah, you have to start identifying your calls, which we could go back to like our last video of ones to DCA into, and how we talked about November new money, and you catch the dips, and so you
Yeah.
start to look for favorable setups moving forward. And that's all basically we were doing for the last 6 weeks. We were looking for these favorable setups to see which ones would kind of blast off, and we got lucky. There's some skill there, but there's some luck involved in and just some other factors. The dollar's way down, and yeah, some things are working out in our favor. So we're going to talk about. Let's talk over the turkey dinner is going to be the name of this. And what do you mean by let's talk over the turkey dinner?
Yeah,
So
like what do you mean exactly? It's just a discussion about the state of the markets.
yeah. So this idea came to me. Of course, for those that do not follow us, please follow us, like, subscribe here. We don't have the big hand punch signal that says subscribe. I wish we did. Any
Right.
editors that want to work for free, holler at us. You can make our videos pretty. But anyways, uh, this idea came to me, and I got it approved with my partner Camille here. About let's talk over the turkey dinner, because 4 years ago the talk was Bitcoin was going to go to $50,000. We wasn't talking $100,000. That was in 2022.
Right.
So 4 years ago, everybody was talking that it was going to go to $50,000. This year, the talk will be like he has highlighted here. Bitcoin is on its way to $100,000, and then if more people know about the market, the ETF approvals, exchange traded fund approvals will be talked about as well. So we believe, for a variety of reasons, the markets have stayed up for these reasons and these reasons alone. So, what's your take, Camille?
Yep. I think this will be the talk, but I don't think we're gonna get there because we've had a double top from a technical standpoint. We had a double top 69, 64, and there are many hurdles to overcome on the way technically. So let's take it stage by stage. And if somebody's not into this analysis and doesn't have clarity of how prices move historically, they would assume 100K is just this magic number that we're aiming for, and it's just going to be a blast to get there since Bitcoin is up, 100% since the lows. It doesn't work that way. I don't think they realize how whales operate, how the whole market moves. So if you're new to this and you got caught up in the hype, just take a look at the charts, cool your emotions off, and that's my take. Like, don't be optimistic, don't get caught up in the hype, because when FOMO spikes and everybody's too happy in the markets, usually we get this huge correction, and we've been overdue for a 30% correction. That's my take on it. What do you say?
Oh, I agree. I mean, here's the thing. This is when you talk about herd mentality, where
Yeah.
it only takes one stick to herd up 1,000 cows. This is a perfect
Mm,
example of that. And why we say this talking over the Thanksgiving dinner is because the excitement is back again. There is
yeah.
some differences in this time. There was more money floating around, in 2019 that there is in 2023. So I don't foresee this big push of money coming in. But the money that does come in, I do believe it is all FOMO money. I do
Yep.
believe you're going to have that guy that maybe has studied the markets a little bit, but maybe not as seasoned as, let's say, me and you, not giving us too much props, but has been around the block a little bit. and we'll be that person at the dinner table that gets, the mom, the brother, the cousins, the aunts, and the uncles, and the grandmas to throw a little bit of money,
Uh-huh.
exciting them. Oh, only 21, millions made, et cetera, et cetera. The whole story. The
Yeah.
halving happens every 4 years. We got ETF approval. It's a foregone conclusion. It's going to $100,000. So all the factors are like lining up on a psychology based assessment when I look at it. Like
Mhm.
this is and in our assessment, how we call out months, October, Shocktober, you get a little bit. Then November, new money comes in, and that's exactly what's happening. And then now we get ready to come into December's for dumb money and Christmas cash. And essentially, what that means, which that's topic number 2 that we'll get into for sure.
Right.
But
So let's go there. Subject 2.
we got the
Um,
old headers going here from last week. Our
no
banner is,
way.
147 holding, going to
How's
7 to 9.
that? Okay, here.
There
I'm sorry.
we go. But yeah,
It's
we
good to know.
believe this year the talk will be over the dinner table, and this is why prices are elevated. But if you followed any of our videos, and hopefully you have, we talked about how we feel like this is really the last few weeks of low. Now, do we think the prices are going to crash instantly? No. What we mean by last few weeks of low is that's really the last few weeks you can kind of get in here and buy them at really you can buy stuff at reasonable prices in
Mhm.
anticipation for the Christmas pump and dump. That's
Okay.
what we mean by that.
Oh, yeah, because to recap last video, I believe, or 2 videos ago, we said last 2 weeks of love, and that was coming into November. And here we are. Here we are at this moment, right?
Yes.
And when we make calls and we pick these coins, we don't randomly just hit buy or show a green light to everything we see. These are like the latecomers, you would say, to the party, right? The ones that haven't popped yet, but there's still that push. And SKL today was fantastic. Not only that, we've had a few of them, but me personally, I'm kind of staying on the sidelines with my own money, because it's just too risky to be playing around now. It's like playing with fire. I'm happy with what I have, and that keeps growing, in the safe stash. But I'm not really adding much. I'm just waiting for a correction to get in. That's my take on it.
Yeah, and I mean, we spoke about it in our last video we did 5 or 6 days ago, where we talked about we pretty much pulled out, uh, because we wanna still see the setup, the setup here. Now we're starting to get some high time frame, they call it HTF for acronym, but a high time frame resistance on a lot of tokens. And one, off the top of my head that I can tell you is like Rune, RUNE,
Yes.
Thor chain. Uh, Everybody was getting excited saying it was going to $12, and I kept saying no, I think it's a deviation or a trap. And then it got up to like 6. It for like 2 days it held above $6, even got up to like 650, but then it pretty much just went down like 25%. So this is what we're talking about. Now, if we would get, let's say, a solid 4 or 5 days above $6, right?
Mm.
A nice solid
Mm.
change of structure. This is where you always, if you stick with us, you want to see change of structure. And in that sense, if it would have stayed above $6, and we're just talking about Thor chain just to kind of cap off what the whole market's kind of doing, we could feel comfortable and maybe aiming for $12. Yes, might have some corrections here and there, but we would still be aiming for $12. Now that $6 failed, we're not,
Right.
unless something changes. Another example that I've been watching really closely because it actually has a SKL setup, which this might excite some people that hear this, maybe even you right now, Camille.
Hmm.
It has a very similar setup to SKL. Like Uber, when we talk about pattern recognition, chart recognition, like you look at skill, SKL, and then you look at 1 inch.
Uh-huh.
It was trying to do this inverse head and shoulders type setup over the longest time, which we mapped this out all the way back in August, and we have all the proof on our trading view to show that. But we knew the 3 cent level was like super key. Once we got over 3 cents, we knew that once it held, we were confident it could double. And
Mhm.
when we say it can double and it can double fast, sometimes that even surprises you because essentially in 36 hours it went up by 140%.
Right. And this takes us to subject three. Like when people see all these coins popping like insanely now,
Yeah.
will that spark even more FOMO going into Christmas, going into December?
Well, you have to have a spike, then a spike down, and then a push back up again. And that'll be the importance. Like if we get into charts here, and then hopefully we can keep this kind of a short and sweet video and run through stuff, relatively good here. But it just goes to show you where you got to pay, where we were talking about, you got to pay attention when the 2 and 3 week was ending, and then the 2 week was ending after our last video. If you can remember, the video before us 3 week. So the chart you want to pay attention to now is the 3-day and the 1 week, because we have this dual close coming up and it's a shortened trading week because of Thanksgiving.
Right.
So everybody's gonna be thankful. But my expectations is, and from history, I've seen it too many times to discredit it. You either run up on a 3-day and a 1 week close, or you end a cycle. Not so much end a cycle, but that's when the correction truly starts. And that happens this Sunday, which right after Thanksgiving, which coincidentally over the Thanksgiving table, what's people going to do? Here, I'll
They're
show you how
talking
to buy,
about
I'll
markets.
show you how to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just like, to me, all this stuff, even though you can't predict the future, like sometimes we be playing around saying we're financial Nostradamuses, but it's like all this stuff just has like this crystal ball lineup. Like, okay, it's too perfect that the 3-day and the 1 week ends this Sunday, right after Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
And this Friday, the day after, that's the end of the month futures contract. So everything just like seems to line up just right. Everybody called for the long to, get to the end of the month. Now here comes December. And this is what we talk about, keeping prices elevated. They'll
Mm.
keep them prices up for a good week or two. And everybody be like, yeah, it's not coming back down. It's not coming back down. And then all of a sudden, 4 or 5 days before Christmas, boom, it's a cycle that, unless something really changes, to be honest with you. Now, don't get me wrong. Can we run still really nice up until this point? I'm not trying to say that. No, this is where we would talk about the second level of trading and things of that nature, where we spoke about again in our video. So watch our old videos, guys.
Yeah, go back to them.
Please, because this is kind of like a recap of all of our videos in one that we're going to kind of tie into November new money, December for Christmas cash. So
All right. So
it counts very well to what we're speaking about. What would you like to add to that, Camille?
I have a question to add. Do
Oh,
we have another 30 good days ahead of us, do you think?
we printed the
Overall.
TD13. We printed the TD13 on the 3-week chart, which definitely, that's when I told you I think that was my sign that
Mhm.
I needed to go ahead and pull back. Now, am I swing trading? You daggone right, I'm swing trading, just like the SKL. Show the importance of the 3 cents, and then I'll recap it with the 1 inch and how it's very similar. But I swung trade that. Now, was I uber aggressive and said, just because I think it can go to 6 to 7.5 cents, that I put my order in to sell it at 6.5 to 7.5, 6 to 7.5 cents? No, I didn't actually. And I'm like, well, I put my order in to get my initial investment back at 4.2. So I bought it at 3, got a 30 some percent, but I think it was in less than, we talked yesterday. We had a little chat yesterday, and I think I got 10 hours or something.
Yeah, it wasn't even a day.
Yeah, it wasn't even close to a day. I pulled, a 30 some percent gain just on that call because I wasn't being aggressive. Could
Mhm.
I have been more aggressive seeing, which again, if you please follow us on our Telegram group, get into that chat. We make calls like this all the time. But in our chat, I mentioned it over and over, between 6 and 7.5 cents. Like I over and over, like I pounded it into people, just like XPRT. And once you see the setup, you see the target, and it's like a magnet. It's really like a magnet that draws it there. And that's exactly how it operated. Now, Could I have waited and doubled my money? Yes, I could have. But did I need to? No,
No, no.
because I got my initial investment out at 4.2, and then guess what happened when it really did hit my real target of 6.5 to 7.5? I
What
took
happened?
another 25%. So now I really did profit. And then, I don't always, and then now the scraps I left in, I put my stop loss way up.
Hmm.
I don't care. Like, I don't
Right.
care. I just don't care. So to bring this full circle, 1 inch, it showed the same inverse head and shoulders setup, which we actually did post that on our trading view with the importance of the 36 to 37 cent level. If this stays above 36 to 37 cents, I can see it doing a similar run.
We're gonna get into the charts just a minute because I'm
No, you're
excited
fine.
to see that and compare. This is where the magic happens.
Well, you would
Um,
have to pull up our trading view to show where we did a SKL chart, which it's probably not going to show it now, but I guess you'd have to pull up our trading view to show where we made that SKL chart. Like we made it in August. We saw this inverse head and shoulder structure setting up.
right.
So that
Just
again, rehash our videos. We always talk about the most important thing. He talked about, the horizontal lines for resistance and supports and things of that nature. But we've also, number one in anything, if you want to learn how to be a good trader, pattern recognition.
mhm.
It is definitely number one. So, do we get 30 more days of good trading? The alts are super maxed out. I say we could probably stay up for another 10.
Okay. That answers my question. All right.
I mean, they'll still probably stay up, but they'll be flat. They'll trade flat.
Yeah.
Once you start to see the alts really trading flat because they're already maxed out, the ones you'd want to look for then is the ones that are lacking behind to create that short
Mhm.
squeeze. But like if you see, let's say Zolana is going to be a perfect example. Just kind of watch Zolana. Zolana's going, since it was such a first mover, it's also going to be a first mover backing out too. And you're starting to see signs of that already.
Yeah. I'm
So
just waiting for a good short entry on many of these, That would be, in my opinion, that would be a safer play once we start correcting.
yeah. But again,
So
we'll,
that's why I'm staying out on the sidelines watching because I'm waiting for those shorts to come in. And I don't need to kill the market here with like huge gains. All I would need is like 20%, spread
yeah.
across the board. And a 20% correction is really from these levels that we have is really a natural thing, I would say, in the markets. Okay. So let me share the screen. There's one more question here that's scrolling. Are you late to the game buying in December? Are you late buying in like on December 5th or 6th? Is that too late already?
When you want to talk about a long term investment, I don't believe you're late in that sense,
Mhm.
as in where we're going to be at in 2025 or where we're going to be at in 2027. Like, I don't feel like that, like we're going to be late to the game.
Yeah.
But the speculation of where a lot of these altcoins are going to go back to their all time highs or even make up half of their all time highs, you probably are going to have 75% of the market that's not going to ever see their all time high again. For one, competition. Two, their utility never worked out. And three, the participants aren't going to be there, and it's not the shiny new toy anymore. It's not the L1, the shiny words before was the NFTs and the L1s and L2s. Now what's the
Right.
new shiny thing? So, do I think you're late to the game? I think not on certain things you're not going to be late to the game. Like, do I feel confident long term buying Zolana even at this price? Long term, you'll be okay. Yes, I do feel like you're going to be okay for Zolana. Do I feel like long term you're going to be okay? Ethereum still at $2,000. Yes, I do. Long term.
Mm,
Does it need to come back to $700 before it ultimately goes up to $6,000? That's something that we may have to see once it
yeah.
loses its rising wedge. So, are we late to the game?
That
Yeah,
was a question asked maybe on a more shallow level just regarding the alts and how we put out signals talking about whatever trades we make. But on a deeper level, since you already touched that, it's like what came to me is you always have to look and see where that alpha investment is, and that's more like about the new shiny thing. It doesn't have to be the fad. It doesn't have to be just popularity, but it could be a technological promise. It could be potential. That's
Yeah.
that's where, like, no matter what stage we are at, FOMO or everybody's going crazy buying things. Long term, when you identify a very strong potential in
Yeah.
some project, you're always good. Like, I don't want to go back to it again, but I believe the metaverse and for example bitmap, to be specific, is that kind of play where you might lose out 50% because a correction could come, and it
Right.
already went from 100 to 60, so you can
Yeah.
you can already calculate the drop, but it bounced back. But if you're here long term, you don't care about these swings. You just invest steadily. DCA would be a good strategy. Spread out your liquidity, and then you always find these things. So short term, you might be a bit late, but on a grand scale, you're not late at all, right? Is that what we want to say?
Well, yeah, and it's really true. Like we always talk about market structure, and right now there's very few when you're talking about actual tokens where their market structure has truly changed. Even Solana, that's ran from $8 up to $60 already, it is still printing on a longer time frame a lower high. That is
Hmm.
still bearish. Anything you look at right now is still bearish when you're looking at it on a longer time frame. There's very few you can really pick out that you can say, okay, we're setting up nicely here. Injective is one of them that is doing very well. It's coming back up to its all-time high. But since it was a first mover, we know from experience, Camille, that a lot of times the first movers is the ones that struggle when the markets really do move in the right direction.
Like QNT, for example.
QNT is a perfect example.
Uh-huh.
QNT
It
is
was
actually a wonderful example. Yes.
it was an incredible first mover, and I remember I was telling the team that was way back before we even got with Exmo, but I was saying, QNT at 50, guys, it started moving, right? Remember? And then
Hmm.
it just doubled, and nothing was moving like that at the time. And then we're still around 100 from that time. Like, all these coins picked up, but QNT is just stuck there. So they do have their
And
own cycles.
that might be, one of them again where it's probably just going to drag along and it has to find its new ground, and if that new ground really is that $40 range. But if we have any corrections in the markets per se, I've told you for a long time, I still see that thing coming back to 26 to $34. And now
Uh-huh.
we're kind of really in this really this really resistance block on QNT, which we know the chart's like the back of our hand between 100 and $125. And until we really break through there, you really have to aim your targets to that downside between 24 to $60. You know what I mean? 26 to $60, somewhere in that range. Until, like we say, as always, the market shows a structural verification, a structure in a verification change. Like it needs to have a
Right.
structural change, and we're not
Now,
seeing that.
yes, we talked about Solana, and I just like the 3-day chart because look, here my mouse will hover here. So we printed a 9 on the 3-day. We're far above these EMAs. What I like when I look at this is the short opportunity, because normally we would love these at the bottom, these kind of hooks and curves on momentum. Look at this here. We
Hmm.
already ended that flat pin to the top. Already
Hmm.
starting to see a little dip here. Fisher break,
Yeah.
done. KDJ already doing that nice curve after a double top. So I think, like, to retest here, this pivot, which is, what is that? It's let me put on the crosshairs.
I was
We can
always at
actually
30
see.
around $37. Like,
Yeah, 37 exactly,
yeah,
right
see, I
there.
I I was always like this because we had a rising wedge on a longer time frame, and
Uh-huh.
that was the breakout point of the rising wedge was $37. So, and I completely agree with you. The only counter argument I have to that is you you have some FOMO here as well. And as long as we can stay above 47, if we can stay within this 47 to 52 range, we're probably coming up to that $74 range as well.
Mhm.
And this is where it's like swing traders paradise. And you can see on a longer time frame why I say that $74 range. I mean, just look there, like when you look on
Yeah.
a longer time frame of why I'm mentioning that area there. You have a
Right here, right here.
very small block over there. We, but if you look at all the greens right below that, Camille, right below your
Uh-huh.
75, that small block, look at all them greens. We need to create some reds in here, and this is why I say I think here for a little while. We're probably going to have to bounce around in that area for a little while before we really get momentum to try to go up to 130.
Okay.
So this could be
So
like a new DCA area, like a 37 to 37 to
cool.
50.
I
We could break
really like that. Here, I'm gonna highlight like 50, you say?
Well, I would
Psychological
like for
50?
us to stay above. If we can stay above 50 now, I believe we're going to go after 75. I
Mhm.
believe we'll at least go after 75 because this is really just a true wave one. So wave two shouldn't be that deep.
Okay.
And I know,
If we're talking about waves, I gotta pull a different retracement. Um,
well, I mean, some people could say that that's a wave. We got a wave one up to $25 or $26. You could say that was a
uh,
wave one and two. This could be a three. But then if we go four, you're talking about we got to come almost to the breakout point back at 27 to $30. So
okay.
again, this is overall market conditions. There's no reason to rush in. This is one. There's no reason to rush in, and I would see how it operates here. See how well we respond between this $47 to $52 range. But ideally, to get a really good market structure, $37 would definitely be somewhere I would like overall.
Okay. We've had a lot of green. This is the 5-day looking. Let's look at the 2-day. Okay, just printing consecutive nines here.
Yeah.
Let's see the momentum. It's getting kind of you can see what's happening here. This Fisher was 743 on the 2-day. That's insane. That's a very strong exhausted move. This candle.
And we're going to have two more 3-day closes.
So,
So the 3-day is probably going to tell you a lot as well because we'll have a 3-day close today, which we'll have that today. And
uh-huh.
then we'll also, what's today? Monday. We'll have one Thursday.
Today's Monday.
And then the all important one is Sunday. So I really feel like Sunday is kind of like our, you know, it kind of
Okay.
shows you before it happens.
That's just Solana. You want to go cover the top coins quickly?
Um, yeah, we can. We'll try to let's run through them pretty quick here. We're already at 29 minutes, but
Okay. So,
leaky faucet.
leaky faucet, my old drawings with the GAN, it kind of comes true now that we cannot get over the 2-1 because if we had, then we would have to really go up higher. And do you think there's strength enough to really go up to, let's say, 48 from this point?
I
Um,
mean, I've had my eye on 44. And again, with Thanksgiving coming up and a lot of talk over the dinner table, uh, even though it looks horrible, this is when FOMO generally kicks in on markets.
yeah.
So that's
Um,
another thing that you can't. We calculated that one time you roughly get I would look at indicators there, Camille, on your 3-day to see where we truly maxed out, and then
Sure.
remember we figured it out that you roughly get what, a 35% FOMO move that we figured out at one time. So there's your true high right there.
Yeah,
See
we
it
did.
on your RSI
Here,
right there. Yeah. So what number was that?
let me switch to normal candles so we can see. Um, it's the same spot. And this the high here was almost 38K.
So you can almost apply. I believe we calculated it roughly as a 25 or 35%, Camille, that you can get a FOMO push. You know.
Yeah, we calculated 30%.
Yeah. Because
So
that's the true high, and what you want to explain to him what we mean by true high, Camille, and how it represents on charts.
well, when you're talking about price and momentum indicators working together, a true high would be where the RSI, for example, registers its highest value, and then price keeps moving up even beyond that price point where RSI was maxed out, but the RSI is lower. So it's just divergence in essence.
Yeah,
A 30% move from 38 would be 49K. A
psychological.
25% move would be 48K.
But there you get to them psychological numbers, you know, that you can see where it can run up to there and stop right there, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Now, do we think that move is justified? No, we don't. But this is what we're talking about. We're talking over the dinner table, talking over the turkey.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we mean. The chart is showing us it's done. We're pretty much, I mean, it doesn't look horrible, but it's superbly oversold, supremely oversold everywhere.
I mean, the only thing that speaks in favor of price going up higher is we've really been stuck in this horizontal range for a long time. And if you take a look, I highlighted the whole range starting in March up to October, so that's 7 months.
Hmm.
Um, where Bitcoin had the time to kind of like decide where it's going next, and it decided to break out. Um, so here we are on the still on the breakout, right? It's not a move from 16K all the way to 38 as you might think. It's a move to first here. The pit stop was at around 23K, and then the middle of this range is 28, and we've been lurking just below. We know how important 28.8 was from the last
Hmm.
cycle, lurking here 7 months, got the pop. Seems that look at the candle right now. Um, yeah, 37.7 as we speak. So one more push.
I mean, we know 42 completes the inverse head and shoulders. We already know that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that number you got up there to where we can get a FOMO push to close to 50,000 is definitely within the realm of possibility. Um, how far could we really go on the three more? How far can we look at the Camille? I know you can change like numbers in there. You got a 6-day chart because a 6-day chart would be cool.
yeah. Sure, I use it sometimes.
Okay, so this will probably tell us a lot actually, because
Mm-hmm.
why I say that is simply because that's when that 3-day and 1 week closes that I was telling us about. Like I really feel like this is probably going to be the most important close of the year this Sunday.
Okay.
Is
Very interesting picture here on the 6 day because we've had a topping candle on the previous 6 day, but it got overrun by this engulfing candle that we're printing now, and it's about to close in 4 hours.
Yep.
It's about to invalidate the doji.
But we're maxed out like crazy.
We are maxed out. You can tell by the stochastic pinning a flat line at the top, which if you look back only happened really here. That's
And barely happened there. It's not never been this flat, for back here. There you go, Camille, all the way back here. I can't see your date. Keep coming
Wait,
back to
here?
that right there. Yeah, look. See, it stayed flat for
That was the
wow.
beginning. That was the
Yeah,
beginning of the bull run.
yeah. And generally, it operates in reverse. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
We're maxing out too late. You know what I'm saying? We're already halfway
Yeah.
through that move as it's showing it. Like when you would go back to look at it, we're already farther in.
But look, we're getting similar vibes on all of these indicators. Like I'm just gonna highlight. So let's say we're here,
Yeah.
okay,
The
and then I was
RSI is starting to peak a little bit. Yep.
wait. I need to maximize because some things are in the way. But I'll be right back to that view. Okay, then just follow where we are. The middle of the dot that highlights the stochastic will be on Fisher, and here on KDJ. I'll just change the color for this one, okay? So take a look here. KDJ, where are we?
Hmm.
Fisher. Aren't these similar levels?
RSI. I mean, I see like where that RSI curved up right there, where it started the green, just a little bit ahead of that. I see the other one.
Okay.
See the curve,
Well,
that last curve you got
here?
on this one. See how it looks similar to that curve you got here. That looks like a topping curve to
Yeah.
me. See how it topped
Oh,
oversold there though? That's what I see different. I see a topping oversold where we were already at the
okay.
green. See how you had that small
Comparing to what? To here?
no back there where you had that A13 and the 9 printed. See how you had that.
Yeah,
See
here.
the
Yeah, here.
all right now keep coming over the other way to the where it started curving up, where it's oversold on the RSI.
Uh-huh.
Right before it, right
Yeah.
that curve. See how it curves right there? Now
Here?
look at the curve there. Yeah, see how it starts to curve up? Now look at our curve here over
Okay.
here. That move again, like you say, represents another 30% up. So we can see it doing that.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at this,
Okay.
I can see this FOMO. I
That's
can see this
Bitcoin
FOMO
itself.
push.
Uh-huh.
Huh? No, go ahead.
Uh, no, I think we've had a little connection problem because you were talking. I was just waiting. Um, can you rephrase what you were saying? Just the one sentence prior.
Um, so do you see how it's curving up currently? Where you highlighted on the RSI? Camille?
Am I here?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, it seems that maybe I have some connection problems, but I couldn't hear you for a minute.
Okay. What I wanted to
Would you
say
like
is
to
you
present maybe? Because
no, you're good. You're fine. Can you hear me though? Mm.
okay, let me switch my let's see here.
Can you hear me good now?
Hey, hey.
Camille?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Now can you hear me good?
Yes.
Okay. See the current curve we're on the RSI right now.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
78.49.
Can you pull up that curve? Can you pull up that big, make it big? Not just that
Yeah.
curve, but that whole RSI. Now, look, this is what I'm talking about. See how you got your red dot over here in the oversold area?
You here?
Yeah, I think you need to move that red dot up higher.
Where do you mean? Like here?
Up to down to where it started curving, just a little bit farther down. Up, no, right in between that cut right there. No, the other one.
Here.
The next one up. Right before it got oversold. Up. Up. Right there.
Okay.
That's where I feel like we're at. And then still long term, you're still creating a divergence, a bearish divergence here. To me, this looks like it's topping.
Okay, I get it now. You wanted to see that here.
Yeah, I wanted to see that and then see how that move looked on the chart. Sorry about that.
No, we're good. I just couldn't hear you because I was breaking up a little. We were here, so then we moved up and
Yeah.
started diverging.
Yeah. So there's your 30K, there's your 30% move that we keep talking about, 25 to
Uh-huh.
42. So I can foresee this same move basically playing out to catch as we got here in subject number 4 and number 3. This is that Christmas cash we always talk about.
Right. Let's say from here, a 30%, up to 35 would be, yeah, 56. And we already knew these levels are dangerous.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But we're not going to be there yet. You would run it from, our current close that we have in 4 hours. So you could run it, what's it? We figured it out, what, $49,000 or whatever it is, which makes sense. That's the psychological $50,000 number,
Yep. A 30% is 49K.
Yeah. And you'd really be stretching the heck out of all these indicators. And that just tells me we're kind of doing that topping pattern that we're seeing over here. It's probably going to take, 12 days to get there, Camille, maybe?
Yeah, I want to see a cleaner chart with just this channel here,
Yeah.
This is a channel that we've been kind of holding inside, and then we're in the top side of it now. Let me show you which one. I'll make it black, and this is the one. So only expect turbulence here, and that's 12 days. You say 47K.
I mean, I just said a number, but
Yeah.
I figured somewhere around 12 days because if we really got, and I should have did this already, so my fault for not being as prepared. I should have figured out when the 3-day and the 1 week closed in December because I could almost pinpoint to the day when I feel like that correction is really going to happen. Not saying it's going to happen, but from history and our experience,
Right. And here I have extension levels. So if you take, we can even take this. Wait, take this off for a minute and apply here. The bottom, that's the candle body close. And we're gonna take maybe even this candle here. Retrace to here. We get something like 43. You mentioned 44.
Yeah.
And the extension is showing me 43 with change. So that's
Yeah.
also a very a valid target,
What's your 231?
231.
Yeah. Or the 236 fib extension?
Okay.
Because I've noticed a lot of these have hit that extension before the correction. The 261 there. See what that is?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
It's 65.
65. See, that's too high. So then you'd want to look at and another thing, Camille, what if you ran your fib extension from up there at 48K down to the bottom? What would that fib extension give you from where we really broke down at 48K right there?
Okay.
Down to the
Oh,
bottom. I was just
I mean,
wondering.
I know it's okay. I never kind of extended the other way because that's a downwards move. So that would give you a downside target, really.
But you could
You know what I
extend
mean?
it back. You could extend it back up to that 29,500 number, right?
So wait, all the way to the bottom here?
And
Yes?
then extend it to 29,500. or whatever that closes up there. The next one.
Here,
Yeah.
it's gonna give you a downside. It is a perfect fib though, because
Okay.
you see we can try to pull it in reverse, I guess. I've never tried that.
See 57. Which
Okay.
again, that was the true breakdown number we knew from last cycle. Again,
Yeah,
we'll make it short and sweet. Don't get too aggressive here. Uh, you gotta if you're gonna get it, you gotta know when to get out.
exactly. The
That's the
702.
that's the key. Yeah, if you're getting it, you got to know when you're getting out because everything is stretched out, and this is exactly how they want you to feel. You're missing out. The FOMO. This is where it's real. 42 completes the inverse head and shoulders. We talked about many of our videos. 44 is a nice little extension that we can expect. FOMO can drive us, even get a spike up to 52 or 53. But
That would be insane FOMO, and everybody would say, "We're going to the all-time high."
yeah, everybody say, "Oh, we're triple topping," but again, real FOMO is not going to kick in until we get past $50,000. You know,
Okay. Want to see our good old friend Bitcoin to Ethereum? I mean
Mhm.
Ethereum to Bitcoin.
uh, for every little bit it makes up, it gets taken back. But until we get over this line, guys, we're not going anywhere. Not much to really say, Camille. We're still holding the trend, which keeps you bullish, right?
Yeah,
But until we truly get over that black line that Camille has, that black trend line Camille has there,
this
right
one.
there that he's highlighting, until we truly get over that, we're still not uber bullish at that time, but we're more bullish. We don't
Mhm.
really get uber bullish until we get over the blue line because then we break that whole downtrend and we start a new trend.
Every time I check this chart, I also go to the altcoin season index. 45 kind
Yeah.
of retraced already.
Yeah.
Had a spike at 49, and okay.
Because any money that's being made is getting pushed right back into Bitcoin, and you can see it. It's just going back and forth. Alts run, money goes back into Bitcoin. Alts retrace. You buy the alts. Like you can just see this flip flopping. Like it's a swing trader's paradise, man.
Yeah. Do you know what I think affects this a little bit? Apart from market cycles and the typical, ebb and flow, I think
Hmm.
it's the Bitcoin narrative that's very strong right now. With the ordinals revolution and people starting to realize there is something more to Bitcoin than just a payment function system. But that's a side note. I think that's also the reason why these alts are being kind of undervalued in a way.
Well, that Bitcoin, I mean, yeah, Bitcoin is truly the only thing you can truly buy where you don't have to worry about it long term with regulatory and things of that nature. So the narrative is very strong on it, whether it's the ordinals, the ETF, or the halving. The the narrative is very strong all the way around when it comes to um
Yes, I
since you're on
agree.
ETH Bitcoin, hold up before you go there, Camille, can
Oh,
you
I'm sorry.
never mind, no, you're good. I was just gonna say I wanted you to highlight the weekly and how we printed a TD9 on the weekly on the ETH Bitcoin pair, but
Let's
um
go.
it printed a 9, which is a nice reversal candle. Anyways, the narrative is just very strong for Bitcoin, and we've said it over and over. Yeah, we're trading close to $40,000 now, but Bitcoin still hasn't found its ground yet. It really hasn't. You know,
You mean this 9?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I saw that 9 print, and which is good. We're still in a downtrend. Five has created nice support. That black trend line Camille has there is what's that number at now, Camille, that we got to hold?
We have
Five
well,
two.
this week we got to hold 51, 52.
So we remain cautiously bullish on ETH and big and altcoins as long as we hold this black trend line,
Mhm.
and we'll leave it at that.
Okay. What's another coin everybody talking about? Ripple.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a top 10. We were supposed to talk about top 10s, so
Look at this old chart that we have here, bro, and it's still beautiful where it rejected that
uh-huh.
line. And until I see a structural change, you still have to keep this in play, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Look at I even counted the waves and everything.
Yeah, everything's here.
People don't like to see that bottom number, but
No.
it's not saying it's going to get there. But the trend breaks, when you see these trend breaks, it's just these percentages line up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And look at the current line we're in now where we got the arrows there. So
The purple one?
the one the one we're on currently. See
Yeah,
how it came above there barely, but came right back below it.
I see.
So you're looking at a 45 to 90% drop still if we don't reclaim that area. And what's that number at now? We got to reclaim, Camille. That line could stay there until we finally break it.
67.
67. So until we clear 67 and have a weekly close above there, guys, cautiously, what?
Bearish.
Bearish. Yes. With an
Okay.
anticipated target of what, 29 cents? So
BNB. Want to look at that one?
I had a friend of mine, this
Uh-huh.
lady, she's a really nice lady, and I'm holding it forever, XRP.
Uh-huh.
And I told her, I said, sell it 75 cents and rebuy it. I said, you're
Did,
not going to see
did she
75
sell?
cents. No, of course not. They never listen to you until they need you.
Yeah, I know. I like to extend this trend line you have here.
Yep. And this is the only line. We can make this short and sweet. Staying above the 50-month MA is key. And
Let's put it on.
test that line. We're still planning on testing that line. Actually, it looks really nice.
Okay, this will be the monthly 50 MA. That's right here.
Yep.
The little
And
blue
that's right
line.
there at that 220 number that we were fighting to get under. So
Yes.
cautiously, I mean, you could play it up to the trend line if you'd like.
Uh-huh.
Play it up to that trend line and see how it reacts there, which sets at roughly 285 now, I guess, 290.
Yeah, 290.
We've talked about that for the number of 275 to 300 for a while. So till we truly get back into that channel with where that trend line is, you got anything to add to that, Camille?
Yeah, I think maybe we're forming some kind of horizontal range.
Okay.
Like look, I'm gonna highlight. Maybe this is what we're forming long term, you know?
Good catch.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I'd still like to get above that trend line to like really verify it though.
Sure. And then we would have to just naturally test 350 because
Mm-hmm.
this is where the range kind of, shows itself.
Could be a nice sandwich trade for a while,
Uh-huh.
depending on market conditions.
And
Would you feel better entering after, or would you feel better going ahead and entering with the possibility?
no, I would wait. Our philosophy is it's okay to pay more when you know it's going up.
Yeah, this is a good example of that actually.
Yeah. So I don't want to touch this until there's verification of structure.
Hey, look at that. Look at us sound all technical now.
I got all this from you.
Mm, I don't know if
You
it's
gotta,
stuff, it's structural changes. I don't know if that's like supposed to be in textbooks, but it's just the ways I phrase things.
yes, it should.
But again, we could come up to that line, Camille, and reject. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we
And
can.
come back and fill in all that green that needs made in there.
But look how this lines up.
Mm-hmm. I do.
And here, top of range, lining up with the 8/1, which is the truly last line of suppression.
That's beautiful, actually. I like how all this kind of lines up as we talk.
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
like your true
So
resistance.
so here would be the first resistance. If we break and retest on the fall,
Yeah.
then we can start talking about 350.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I like that. I like how you broke that down. I tell you what, that was impressive. And we made a comment again, guys. Subscribe, follow, comment. Let us know what you like. Get into our personal Telegram because we've spoke about this. What was it, Camille? A week and a half ago ish or so. I put a thing. I said, look at the exchange tokens, your
Yeah,
BNB. Look at your CRO. Look at your MX. Look
I
at your
think
Crow.
Qcoin
Because
token.
I said, look at all these exchange tokens because with trading volumes up November new money,
Uh-huh.
exchange tokens should surge. And this is one that I have coming up to 9 something actually. I got it coming up to try to break this resistance, which look, if you draw a trend line right there, Camille, look, it's super similar to BNB, that trend line right back here. I can't ever see
Yeah,
it.
okay. I
It's
will. Just a
it's
second.
like
I want to
it's
show
like
family.
all
Uh-huh.
beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, because like when you see these together, like one candle next to the other with these indications, then you can just go ahead and buy a little bit because it's probably gonna jump. You said yeah, okay, I'll do the same thing here. Um create a range. So the range I see is obviously here up to 1060.
Well, but
Is
that
that what you
1060 goes down to see how you got your other A9 there or whatever?
Yeah.
We haven't broken into that range yet because see that that green A9 you got here in
Here this
2023?
S9?
Right. Until we truly get over that, we're not super bullish. That
Okay.
you with me?
Yeah.
And we are now. This is why we want to pay attention to it because we lost that level and then now we're reclaiming that level. So now when you're going to highlight that range up to $12 or whatever, now that's a possibility.
Okay. I want to go off candle closes here. So let's take this candle and I'll just go here.
Yeah, exactly.
We're entering here.
So
Now another thing that we have to kind of repeat would be take the highest peak. It's very simple. Okay, the 8/1 shows us a bit like you said. Well, this is 13 and a half, 13.7 even. That's a long
if
way to
if,
go.
if we
Huh?
reject and we have this deviation pattern that we've seen with a lot of things right so far,
Yeah.
this is where the deviation would happen right below this rejection of this MA we have here. You got on the screen already.
Mhm.
Because that means we're just testing where we lost that level, the
It's the
horizontal.
50 month.
Yeah. And if we reject here at that 50 month, which is still pretty much lines up with our horizontal, this could all be a deviation. So we had if you look at your other Gann angle, Camille, at 3/1, we had a deviation there before it finally took out too.
Yeah.
See back in March, see the deviation there.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah, and you had one again right before May as well.
Sure.
2 different deviations. Will this be a third deviation before we come back down to the 360 range to really get real support before taking off the 1050?
Okay, we're fighting definitely some kind of strong resistance now with in the shape of this 50 MA on the monthly.
Yeah.
I mean, there are many other indicators we can use, like the typical, like
Yeah. Mhm.
daily MAs. Is it showing or not? Oh, these are EMAs, but they're good enough. Okay, they're all below us. So they are basically supports now. Not much in the way except for this 50 monthly, like you say. We can go after the weeklies, but okay. Enough time spent with KuCoin.
Well, I mean, that just gives you an example of like why we're talking about BNB, and then
Yeah,
exchange tokens. You're going to look for your surges now. See, look at that huge surge here, and we've taken out all this level here, and you've made a. You were talking about a trade on here coming all the way, up to like $4 or $5, and it's just staggered in here. It's just kind of lingered in here, but
yeah. This is actually pretty positive that it's forming this, strike base um indecision TD13 on the upside, which is kind of caution, be cautious sign.
well,
Um
it could be your D though, and your ABC as well.
uh-huh. This is a
So
big frame. Let's go to a 3-day. I played it here because I saw a very clear wedge. Look here. That
yeah,
was obvious. That was very obvious. So it broke out, and then now it's forming like this upwards channel.
so I mean that would probably be the one thing I would just add that we have on our things there is pay attention to exchange traded tokens because we're anticipating trading volumes to increase.
Yes,
So
pro,
hypothetically, in theory, Crow has did really well. It's hit all of our targets that we mapped out well in advance. Actually
beautiful.
exceeded my target. I only had it like I didn't even try to find a take profit too because again it was so beat down. I was like, if I can get it up to 8.5 cents, I'm taking my money. And of course it did, and then boom, a perfect retest of 8.5 and then coming back up again. But
Mm-hmm.
double top right there, 12.5. So yep, OKB. Just that's the only thing. If you'd want to put subject 5 down there, pay attention to exchange.
OKB's looking great though. Look, because it's hovering above. It's hovering above like this range. Let's say if it's a range even.
Yeah, and you should be able to apply that to the top side. You should be able to take that same range and apply it to the top side.
Yeah.
Unless if
Okay.
you look at it on a longer frame, if you look at it like on a weekly frame or 2-week frame, Camille,
Uh
we don't
huh.
know I don't know what the actual high was. So maybe we're double topped long term. I don't know.
This shows me 72, like you say. Let's go to the 2-week and see what happened here. We've never
Oh
been
yeah.
higher.
Yeah.
Price discovery.
Yeah. 1, 2. Yeah, wave 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this wave. We're in wave 5.
Nice. And if you look,
Mm-hmm.
see, so I mean, I keep reading many positive things about this one, the exchange itself. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of innovative. They're trying to reach out to the people. They're doing some cool things. So this is well justified by price
Well,
action.
it looks like your next BM. It looks like your next BNB. It looks like it's getting ready to hit $100.
It is. It is, right?
I'm sure it's probably stretched out because if it's ran that hard, I can almost guarantee the indicators are stretched.
Well, it's showing divergence slowly on
Not really.
RSI.
They're not that stretched. Just a little bit of bearish divergence on the RSI.
Yeah, this is cool. The stochastic on the 2-week.
Pointing down. It'll probably retrace, probably to retest that breakout range, if anything, of $34. Maybe,
Okay.
maybe I would say that would probably be my stop loss zone somewhere in there in DCA into this puppy.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. What do you think?
I think this is looking promising, and as you say, you're very good. You're making solid moves if you use this DCA in this range here. If it drops to like between 50 and 35, just keep buying a little and see what happens because there's a good chance we might go up to 100, like you say.
I mean, that's a nice basic form. You're talking that's
Yeah,
a 2-week candles. That's a big basic form there. So this thing has all the potential in the world to go to uh in hundred
and it looks
dollars.
like a bull flag actually. Very nice bull flag.
Well, you already
See?
had a bull. That's a completed bull flag. You already had a bull flag back here at 003. 003 up to See, you already had one.
Well, you mean here?
No, the next right there. Up
Here?
Yep, there's your bull flag, and then we completed it. And then we
In a way,
completed the top up there.
I'll show you what I see. Where is that? Retracement. This will be an extension actually. If this is your 1, okay, from the bottom to the top, if the top is 1, let me switch it around. Where is 1? Then we need to see this one. 1272. Okay. Now, in relation to Bitcoin from current levels, 86%. Apply to USD,
$100.
86%.
Yeah, over $100.
Yeah, exactly. 107.
And that's what we're talking about aiming for. So
The
yeah, this one looks
psychological
good.
100.
This is probably one of the better looking charts we've looked at.
Yeah. This one's nice. You already see that on the dollar pair, kind of like the flag is broken out of. You see that right here? Having the breakout right now as we speak, and doing the retest actually at this moment after the breakout. So this is the one to really keep an eye on because we can keep going higher here. Okay.
And trading volume should be picking up. Trading volume should be picking up.
Let's see.
It's just whether or not it stays stagnant while Bitcoin runs is that's the only thing you don't know. But it still looks good. If you're only saying that you can get up to 100, but your loss right now is down to 34, that's still really good. And 100 is probably a conservative estimate if it's really outpacing Bitcoin like this. It's probably conservative. You know,
volume here had a little spike just last 2 weeks ago. So after all this quiet time, you see here, had a little. I mean, this could be something in the works now.
We just want to make sure it's not going to be a deviation of that high so far. You really got to come in there and create support there. This kind of reminds me of Zoll a little bit. Like it really needs to create support in this levels here. If not, we could just come back to retest that $50 range again, $43 to $50 or whatever it is.
In the bottom of this channel. Anyway, watch for the breakout of this channel here. That would be something.
With $70. Really
yeah, $70 exactly.
Well, and you could figure out the breakout just by highlighting that percentage there, Camille, and then taking it above that $70.
Sure.
That's in the parallel channel. So that this again, it probably runs you right up to $100 again. Everything's kind of trying to. If we can maintain this level, everything's pointing at $100 for this thing.
57 from here. Breakout from 70. 57. Yeah, exactly the same price.
Yeah.
On beautiful, everything.
Man. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
That's a great job. No, it's just we get multiple confirmations on a target. That's all.
Yeah. That's what we're looking for mostly. Look, we stacked, just to go back a little, we stacked these two ranges on top of each other and got the same level on this chart. And we also did something on the other chart, or with a different metric. It also gave us 107. So yeah, multiple confirmations. Okay.
Yeah, I like it. As long as it can hold that range, I would say I would aim for 107. I mean, even short term, swinging it to $70. I mean, come on.
Yeah, because then
a little bit of money there.
How much money can you make? You put 1,000 on it.
18%, 16%. Yeah,
you get $160 from it.
I would just DCA in, and now that you got a little tighter number for your stop loss, at that $40-some number, I would set my stop loss at like $38 or $39 and just DCA.
Okay.
That's what I would do. What do you think?
I'll do the same thing.
Yep. Just set stop loss right around 37.25 and just DCA.
See how far it takes you. I assume it takes you over to 100 and up.
And if it resets, maybe even more. I mean, look, the volumes are really not there. So,
yeah.
I
Okay.
don't know how good of
Our
a trade it
trades,
is today. Okay.
we're up $100 on this one. This is just for fun. This is not
Yeah.
like our Telegram channel where we really knock it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the vet. Um
Don't worry, it's coming. It's showing life too again. But look
yeah,
at
we
that
made
nice little trade.
comp 500.
Yeah. Why
And
they keep
here,
closing them trades out? We should have had a good short trade. See, all them short trades never went. We never got stomped out on RPL.
I don't get it. Like they
I don't get
cancel
it
out.
either because we never should have gotten stomped out at all on RPL. All them should have triggered.
That's why we don't mess with paper trading. We do the real trading.
Well, that's
And
junk, man, because
it's junk.
that RPL should have. I don't know why I'm saying a loss for RPL because it should have never triggered. It should have never ever triggered.
I know.
And of course, the V chain, again, it's coming back up. It came down to retest that 2 cent, and I put a little thing out there. That might be the last time you see 2 cents again.
Uh-huh.
So that might be the last time we see 2 cents again. But look at that.
Here,
See,
that
it's
wick,
showing the arrows
that
that we
wick.
got triggered there. There's no way we got triggered there. See, it showed it took it and it showed that it went and took it. I don't see blue and red. That don't make sense.
I don't. They just cancel each other out. I don't get it either. Nevertheless, we entered somewhere here at 31, wasn't it?
No, we entered all the way up here when we saw the spinners and everything, and we put a stop loss at like 35.50.
Yeah.
We put a stop loss all the way at like 35.50. Didn't come nowhere close to that. If any, and then we said take profit at 29, and the next one was at like 25 or 24
Uh-huh.
and a half. Like we should have had at least one stop loss at the 29 that got triggered. Or not stop loss, but profit taken
Take
at
profit.
29.
Take profit. Right.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. But look, it's still bad. Look at that. It's still not a good call.
Yeah, we're just messing around with this. Okay. Okay, B.
Yeah, it's just we're trying to let you all know. Look at the exchange tokens. While we're expecting the exchange tokens to surge, that's something to keep note of here towards the end of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, this one is in some of these. All right, fine.
So let's
Um,
a roundup
yeah.
maybe of what we're thinking, and maybe give them some surprise tokens.
Um, I was surprise tokens from my list, huh? Okay. Can you do the roundup, please, while I look for these tokens?
Okay, our roundup is don't get too excited, as we always tell you. Patience is truly key. If you don't know how to identify structural changes, follow us, like, subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll teach you about these structural changes. The
Right.
talk will be this year about Bitcoin going to $100,000. It will be about the ETF, and if you're really in the know, it may even be about ordinals or the ordinals protocol. But saying all that, we do expect a pump and a dump to come in December, which will tell you, even though it's not politically correct, we call Decembers for dumb money. And what that basically is, if you don't have enough money to buy your kids that new shiny video game or a new shiny cell phone or tablet or laptop, they're going to try to make quick money. And this is why we call Decembers for dumb money, because they come in thinking they can get real fast Christmas cash.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a poet and didn't know it. But they try to come in to get this real fast Christmas cash. And it's more of a gambler's mentality. But for people like me and Camille and other seasoned traders out there, we know that's the mentality every year. So as you heard us exiting the market, and now we're just taking a little bit of swing trade money, The money we are swing trading is still profit money. We're not taking any of our actual own capital. So we're employing the 0% trade strategy, which was a wonderful video that you should go back and rewatch that we did, I think 5 or 6 days ago. And it's called the 0% trade strategy. That's why we say we don't mind doing that right now, because we do impress now. If we really see it's setting up to make a really nice December push in some of these alts that are coming up to high time frame resistance, we will re-enter the market, but we won't be uber aggressive. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's probably how I would wrap it up. Don't get excited. Expect a pump and then expect a dump, because everybody wants the Christmas cash. And then when the markets go down, it'll be people like me and Camille that took the capital that we took out of the market. We're going to put back into the market for what we would call, and we'll share it with you. I don't know if we'll be able to share it with you on this channel, but you will see us again on YouTube in one form or fashion, where we'll share with you January jump. And we anticipate a nice jump in January because it's the psychology. It's the psychology of a market. It's the way the markets move in psychology. We see it over and over and over again. The technicals show it in advance before it ever happens.
Right.
Camille?
That was beautiful. I wouldn't even dare add anything to it. So to retain this magnificent impression on the viewer, I'll just switch the topic. And you asked about a sleeper. Well, I was looking through coins that are doing okay versus Bitcoin, and I noticed one that you like. It's UTK on a really long frame, because this wedge, it stretches all the way back from 2020. Okay, and it seems that we're nearing the completion of it. It ends in April. Can we get a little fake out and retest and slide down for like a higher low here? Yes, definitely. So keep an eye out for a UTK. This is I'm showing you the chart to the dollar, but I spotted this one in the Bitcoin pair, and I would say, with all these surprises that we're getting now, I wouldn't go all crazy, but it's possible for an 80% move. That's my little nugget here.
That's conservative, because when I'm looking at it, I can see where it can take out 300% pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm conservative, so this is the way I show it. On the Bitcoin, it just had a nice little, pickup here. I like that candle. It printed a 9 actually. So now we're doing 10, 11, 12. This is not a 13 because it's higher than two candles back, but we can still get a 13 here, because the count is quite different for a 13. So we can still get something here, and that would signify the bottom to the Bitcoin pair. And now also, this is in reverse, so let's change it.
I like that 8.5 level though that you had up
Look
there.
what happened. This is freestyle. I wasn't preparing this fib poll, but look what happened. The 888 is a secret fib that is actually a useful fib. Look, it's not by accident. All right, so this gives us hope to go at least here to the how many zeros, and if these are satoshis, then 3,200 sats, and that would be again something like 70% on the Bitcoin pair.
Yeah, to retest that trend line.
Exactly.
To retest the breakdown, which is what we saw similar in HCH, XCH.
Yeah,
we saw that similar.
So right here.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say this is
conservative. That's conservative.
That's conservative.
Good call. Good call.
Thank you, sir. Do you have any other charts I could pull like from the sleepers list?
Well, I tell you, it's kind of hard to come back up on some of the calls we've made here recently, but I got a pretty decent feel, which it ran really well today, but A Cash did really well.
All right. Yeah, I saw it. Beautiful.
Of course, I told you I picked up some the day before it ran, but the weekly chart is what's more appealing to me probably here than anything else. It's probably probably the cleanest that I've looked. Probably most altcoins are oversold on the weekly.
I like a cash. When I read about it, I really liked it. And now, if you're talking about clean charts, guys, look, it's doing this U pattern, U pattern, right?
Yeah,
It you can see how we actually got over this level,
which is huge.
142. Yeah, this is like the bear bull,
Yeah.
and we got over that. So very, very nice catch, John. And ride it all the way to 248.
I think that's conservative right now. 248 is conservative.
We like conservative. That's a 40% almost.
Yeah, but when I see the way these indicators look, we already completed the hidden bearish divergence back here between 2023 and right there in October on the RSI. So that means the RSI got to reset again when it hit this 80-cent bottom.
Yeah.
So when that RSI, so what you do is you go back so a little technical lesson here for you. So you go back to find out when you see that same type of thing happening again, and you may have to look into something else. So like the scholastic RSI. So I can't see your dates there, but in
Okay. Let me stretch this for you.
2022, like in 2022 for your scholastic RS, watch when it completes. It does like he's talking about. It does these waves, and it
Uh-huh.
just takes out these certain levels that it holds. So once we came back to hold that 80-cent level, look at how it created support there at 55 cent, and then it peaked up to 80.
Uh-huh.
We've taken that whole area out. So take from your 80-cent down to your low there, Camille, of 19 cents, and that should give you a range. That should give you a target.
Yeah, let's go from here.
Yeah, up to that low of 80
50.
cent. That
Oh,
low we just had right there, yeah, 300%, and then apply that from that 70-cent range. That should give us our target.
that's like over 2.
Yeah.
Well, no, what did I say? Yeah,
No,
300%.
this should be our target.
294. Yeah, 290.
Yeah. But make it small again and then look at everything. Tell me how that's not reasonable.
It is.
That's very reasonable. Short term, what did I say? 248.
Yes.
So,
We also talked about near.
it's starting to stretch, now, but it's hit
Yeah,
all
good
of our
calls on
targets.
it.
It's hit all of our today. It actually hit my third target today of 215. If
Uh-huh.
you highlight the 132 area, Camille, price wise,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
No, I'm good with that. Well, sure. 132. Somewhere here.
All right. So I said again, follow us in our Telegram group. Once it got over 132, there was a potential for this to run to 240 to 260.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another wonderful example of our philosophy, which we incorporated into our trading style, which has been very profitable. It's okay to pay more if you know it's going up. There's another perfect example. Look what happened when it bypassed 132.
Zip. Retest.
And
Go higher.
retest, no, and higher. But we had our stop loss down lower than that, of course, but your risk to reward was greater on the breakout. because you could still keep going down if you'd have bought below 132. I put the signal out at 120, even though we were watching it well before that. But
Yeah, I was on near for a long time when it was bottoming, and if I can bring my call for near,
mhm.
that must have been very early on during this whole thing here.
Well, you see the red and the blue there. That we traded there and we made that close. See, and I think it closed our trade. Our target hit there. See, we had 167 because we called already. Once it broke 132, we were aiming for 167, and then
Yeah.
from 167 we were aiming for 215, and from 215, and you see them blue and red arrows there. So apparently, Trading View, it better not have closed that trade out because that target hit, but it probably did.
Yeah, near faked me out at the end of August, August 22nd. Wait, let's see roughly where that would be. That would be like somewhere here. I said, because then I had a very nice feeling about near, and I said we're getting something like this, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we were around here, and I was expecting we hold this trend line and bounce. It did fake me out, triggered a stop loss because it did that right here, but subsequently it did what I was expecting. So from here it did shoot up a nice little, let's see, a nice little 95%. So right, talking about near because I wanted to show that it your target hit. um I remember you were pointing to near. Okay. I think we got it wrapped up. These were just a little bonus tokens here.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, thank you for today. John, thanks. Enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner with your family. I know it's a big holiday in America. Here, we only teach about it. We're waiting for Christmas. So guys, follow us and stick around because we got many good calls and we go in depth on a lot of things connected with the markets. Not only crypto, we also talk about what's happening, with macro factors, how it affects, everything in crypto. All
Yep.
right.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
guys.
much.
Appreciate you all.
Goodbye.